Hi there, I'm Budda and you're watching Dr. Guitar, a show for all you guitarists out there. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how I use overdrives and what are my thoughts about overdrives. I start to apologize for the squeaking chair, but that's the one I have. I have here my pedal board, my flight pedal board, but I added two more overdrives just for the comparison. I always think about overdrives. I think you need at least two overdrives to get the job done. And why is that? I think you need a clean tone if you need it, a slightly overdriven tone, and a lead tone. That's my way of thinking. Why do you need a lead tone? Well, if you have an already overdriven tone for your rhythm playing, you are playing a lot of notes. You are playing chords and at least two notes. When you leave the two notes and start to play just one note, your tone will get thinner because you're playing less notes. So you need a second overdrive or a boost or a compressor or something that boosts your tone and probably something that gains up your tone to compensate for the difference of the rhythm and lead. That's how I think about it, and that's how a lot of people think about it. Usually amps have the rhythm and lead tone. That's why. Because it's very difficult to have a good rhythm tone and then to use it as a lead without losing tone, because you're leaving notes behind. You're not playing as much as you would be playing as you would play when you play rhythm. So I usually have two overdrives. So I have the clean, I have the rhythm overdrive, which sometimes it's my lead. It depends on the song dynamic, on the song's dynamic. Because if it is a really quiet song, I probably will only need the rhythm overdrive to solo. And then I have a second overdrive to lead it or to boost it in some way. I usually have a lot more than two overdrives, but two is my minimum. And my minimum is the king of tone. It has two overdrives. It's basically two pedals in one, two exact same pedals in one. So you have the left side, the right side and the left side. You have volume, drive, and tone. And inside there are some deep switches that allow for you to choose between clean boost, overdrive, or distortion. I use it in factory settings. So I use it an overdrive on the right side, the red side of the pedal, and a clean boost on the yellow side, the left side of the pedal. And I use it almost the same with the same settings. It depends on the amp. Today I'm using the Royal Atlantic, the Mesa Boogie Royal Atlantic, because it is a super clean amp, or it can be clean with a lot of headroom. And I use it just to let you hear the pedal and not the amp cranking up. So I have my rhythm tone, my clean tone. And I have my rhythm drive. With a good overdrive pedal, you can get this dynamic range. So if you play gently, it cleans. If you play hard, it distorts a lot more. I have my first channel, my overdrive channel, and I usually like to set it a little louder than the clean one because I don't play clean tones. Like, I'm not a jazz guitar player. I don't play loud clean tones. My clean tones are my softer dynamic tones. So if I press the rhythm, I need to have a little jump in volume because the drummer will be playing louder, so I need to go there. It's a jump in volume and a jump in gain. And I'm also looking for the compression. Then I have the second side, which is just a clean boost, and on itself it just raises the volume, but since it has the drive, it gives me a little more compression too. So if I need a clean tone louder, I have this one. Okay, when I'm playing rhythm, I have this one, and playing chords, rhythm chords. If I want to play lead, get it? Since this pedal also has a drive on it, when you push the already overdriven side into the clean boost, it will overdrive the drive a little more and it will give you a boost. So you have a little more gain and a lot more volume. This is why the King of Tone is so precious to me, and it's my favorite pedal. And I haven't even changed the knobs or the gain settings. It is on a great setting to me. So this is my holy grail. Then I have the Overdrive. The Overdrive is also a great pedal with a lot more drive on it and a lot closer to a fuzz pedal, but with tightness, because it blends the clean tone. It also lets your clean signal pass a little through. So you have a clean signal, you have the pick attack, but a lot of sustain, a lot of drive. So you can really notice the difference. I think you can really notice the difference. This has a lot more gain. I love to play slide with this, and it is super responsive to the guitar's volume. So if you need a clean tone, you have it. But you have a lot of gain in your hands. So these two are my overdrive. This is almost into distortion, but these are my main ones, and I sometimes use it just at overdrive, just the right side of the King of Tone, just the left side of the King of Tone, both sides of the King of Tone, the left side of the King of Tone with the overdrive, the right side of the King of Tone with the overdrive, both sides of the King of Tone with the overdrive. So you have a lot of combinations to do. And listen what the King of Tone does to the overdrive. craps up that mid-range. It makes it even dirtier and meaner. So it's a great combination. Then my new favorite pedal is the Hudson Electronics Broadcast. It is based on a Neve preamp and the Neve knobs. And it is a little different from the regular Overdrive pedals. It has gain and 2 volumes because it has 2 sides of it with preset increase in gain. So you have the first side, which is controlled by this gain, and then the green side increases the gain by a preset, and you can adjust it on the trimmer pot inside. So you have 2 gains, 2 different gains, and then instead of having a tone control, you have a low cut, which means that it cuts the frequency, the low frequencies, make it a lot tighter. Or if you leave it all open to the left, you have a lot bass, but the bass will crap up in a really good way. So here it is with full range. And let's start to clean the bass. So you have really different characters from the pedal. The thing I really love about it is that it sounds super vintagey, and it makes any modern amp like the Royal Atlantic sound a lot more like a Supro or like a Marshall Plexi or like even a Bassman amp, because it gives it's not punchy, it's overdriven, it's great, and it is super responsive to pick. So and the low gain setting, I really love it. I really love it. And it gives me a totally different flavor. It's the same function as the King of Tones. So I have cleaner first setting. It's the same function, but the tone is totally different. So it inspires me to play in a totally different way. It's very Jimmy Page sounding. And when you engage the second one, if you use the out of phase on the telly, it's so great. It's super, yeah, I love it. I'm really loving it. Then you have this yellow here. It's not a Boss SD1. It is a Boss SD1 enclosure, but inside there's a Tube Screamer 808 made by Analog Man. So he uses the box and some components of the Boss SD1. But it is a tube screamer. The tube screamer usually cuts the bass and boosts the mid range, so it gives you a honky tone, which is great to really pump in the mix, to really how can I to really cut through the mix. That's the right word. I don't know if it is the same with all the tube screamers, but the tone knob is really critical to get the bite of the pedal. And it works really well with neck pickups. It's super Stevie Ray. So the clean tone. It is a lot less fatter than the King of Tone, so King of Tone. And that's why I really love my King of Tone, because it is super natural with a little more gain. But sometimes the tube screamer is very useful when cutting through the mix, and it allows some of the clean signal to pass through. So you'll always have a little definition, and it works really good with an already overdriven amp. So let's engage the high gain channel on the Royal Atlantic. And if you boost it with a tube screamer, you get more volume out of an already overdriven amp. While if you boost it with the King of Tone, you only get more distortion. You don't get more volume, but you get more perceived volume, because it gets rid of some of the low end, so it cleans the amp a little bit, and then it boosts it in the high frequencies, so it makes it sound a little louder. And that's the secret thing of the tube screamer. It also works great with strats in the in-between positions, because they don't have the mid-range, and it gives it back that mid-range. And it also works great with Fender amps, because they have the mid-range, and this gives it the mid-range, the Marshall mid-range. And the other overdrive pedal is a cheap one, but a very good one. Not very versatile, because it sounds good to me in a few settings, but it is a good one. So clean tone with the DOD. I find it more of a preamp, as it says. It says Overdrive preamp 250. It's more a good preamp, a good clean boost than an overdrive. But I like it with the gain fairly low and a little bit of level. It makes your guitar sound almost the same with a little more volume. Let's compare it to the King of Tone boost, clean boost. even like it more in the clean boost with this amp. And that's the thing. The overdrives work in conjunction with your amp, not by itself. So some pedals sound great on one amp and some pedals don't sound great on another amp. That's why I'm using the Royal Atlantic, because it is a high headroom amp and you can listen better to the pedal, because this pedal sounds a lot different in my Supros because they are already compressing like shit. So when you engage this setting of the King of Tone, it's a lot more distorted than you are hearing it here, because the amp is also working. Okay. So in the Supro amps, for example, in the Tremo Verb, I don't have clean boost. When I engage the clean boost, it overdrives the amp a lot more. So I don't have jump in volume. I only have more gain and a little jump in volume. So this preamp sounds really good. And since it doesn't have a tone control, when you push the gain, it gets a little too bright to me, too brittle, too harsh. But it is a good pedal. So this is my way of approaching drive pedals. If I have an amp like the Lone Star or like the Royal Atlantic that already has overdrive, and this Royal Atlantic has two overdrives in it, so it has two different characters, the King of Tone would be enough, more than enough for me, because I could boost the amp with a clean boost, or I can get the clean channel to have the drive. So I would be more than happy with this amp on stage with no overdrive pedal. But when you use amps that don't have overdrive, or that you like the clean tone but you don't like the overdrive channel, you can use the clean channel or the clean setting of the amp and then boost it with overdrives and get different flavors and different textures. It's not that if I use 7 drive pedals, I will use it all the time. Sometimes I'll use it for a specific thing, for a riff or for a lead sound or for the neck pickup, because sometimes the Tube Screamer, for example, sounds really good with the neck, but it doesn't sound that good with the bridge. The King of Tone sounds really good with all the pickups and all the settings. It's a great pedal. The Hudson is a great pedal too. It sounds really good. It's very different, very unique, but I love it. I really love it. The Overdrive doesn't sound that great in every situation, but when it sounds good, it's really good. It's really, really good. So sometimes I use it in a show in 1 or 2 songs, but those songs, it does the job really well. Well, that's it. I hope you have liked the show. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's very important. It means you care about us, about the show, about the community, and makes us stronger so we can do a lot more things. Stay tuned and we'll see each other next week.